What is up, Wholesale to Million family? We're back with another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. Gosh, man, I haven't done these in a while. But anyways, George, how much was your first wholesale deal?
It was $78,000.
Wait, dude, bro, how much was it?
Oh, my fee? My fee was only $2,500.
No. Your first wholesale deal, you made $2,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay, dude, I thought you said $7,800. I was like, damn, dude. No,
I
thought you said 78,000.
No, 2,500.
All right, so $2,500 for your first, and what lead source did it came from?
It came from Craigslist.
Craigslist. All right. So you guys, man, if you recently discovered my channel, you recently joined the family, welcome to the Wholesale 2 Million family. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, man. And also, too, if you recently closed your first wholesale deal, shoot me an email over to wholesale2millions@gmail.com, and I'd love to get you onto the channel. But I'm bringing you guys back. You know, George closing his first wholesale deal. I want him to share with you guys his stories, and obviously leading into his first wholesale deal and how it all goes down. All right. So I'll hand it over to you, George. So why don't you rock and roll, man? Tell me your stories.
Well, I'm a contractor over here in Spokane, Washington, and I just heard about wholesaling maybe about 6 months ago.
Wait, George.
So,
you're okay? So your contract from where?
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington. Okay. All right, bro. So and you discovered wholesale when?
About 5 or 6 months ago.
All right, bro. Just keep going, man.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about real estate, really. I mean, I've been working in construction my whole entire life, but I didn't really think about investing in real estate or even buying it for that matter. But I started learning about it about 6 months ago, and just got engulfed in learning how to do it. And so I just started posting Craigslist ads, and one of the days I was on my way to my full-time job, I get a text in the morning, and the guy's like, yeah, I want to sell you my house. It's $70,000, and it's over here. You could go take a look at it and see if you want to buy it. And I was like, dang, it's that easy, huh? Like, the guy just gave me all the info in one text, and we were ready to rock and roll at that point.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the seller saw your Craigslist ad and shoot you a text message and didn't even call you, just shoot you a text message with the price and everything?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
man.
It was pretty cool.
You're like, man, this is not that hard.
I mean, it's hard, but it's not that hard.
All right, George.
Yeah.
So now tell me about the lead, man. So the seller sent you a text, and then what happened next?
Oh, so yeah, I just set up an appointment with his wife, and then we met up that next day, and just kind of told her what I do and how I do it, and we just signed a contract right there on the spot, and we just agreed on the price, signed a contract. I went and took it to my attorney, and off we go, man. I did a JV on this one with a buddy of mine. So the assignment fee was $5,000, but I split it 50-50 with him. Gotcha. So I ended up with $2,500, and he ended up with $2,500.
Cool. Now, George, I want to know, man. I want to know, how did the conversation go when you were over there with the seller? So you got the text message, hey, here's the price, $70,000. Here's the address. Why don't you go check it out? And let me know if you want it. Is that what pretty much the seller said?
Yeah, that was it. In fact, we didn't even really negotiate on price. I just gave him what he wanted because I knew it was a good deal. So I was just like, yeah, here it is. Here's my contract. Sign it. And he signed it right there on the spot. We didn't even get too much further into it, but it was a total gut job. So it was fun. There was actually another wholesaler that was there too.
What's that?
There was actually another wholesaler that showed up there on the, yeah, there was another wholesaler there because he called two of us. And I guess the other guy was just a little bit lower than me. So I got the bid.
Ah, so there was another wholesaler there with you as well. And you guys both made the offer to the seller. And you just went ahead and accept the seller's price at 70.
Yes.
So wait.
Yeah,
so
I knew there was some time. I knew there was some room to move around there. I knew we could sell it out at
Sure.
75.
Sure. So now, George, let me ask you this, man. With the other wholesaler there, did you guys battle back and forth with numbers at all, or did he just make his offer and then leave?
He just made his offer and left. We didn't even really talk that much. He knew he was my competition, so he wanted to get out of there as fast as possible.
Wait, so, dude, that is weird. So another wholesaler was there. He made his offer to the seller and then just leave, like he didn't stay. But you stayed around and said, but you stay around.
Yeah, I stayed around because, you know, everybody talks about building rapport. So I built some rapport with his wife, and she really liked me. So so they went with me.
Good for you, man. So, dude, the other wholesaler didn't really bring his game. So you felt like, hey, this is, you know, it's like playing with an amateur, dude.
Yeah, and he's been, I guess the other wholesaler's been doing it a lot longer than me, but he just wanted to get in and get out of there. It didn't even seem like it, he just went and took a picture of everything and just left.
And then just did you know what his offer was?
No, I think his offer was probably like, $5,000 cheaper than mine.
Whoa, bro. All right, dude. Okay, so, dude, George, if that was me, bro, I would have given you a run for your money, bro. So George, okay, man. So so the seller, so you accept the $70,000. You didn't negotiate. Now, when you mentioned you tell the seller everything that you were doing, what were you saying? Because I want to understand, what were you telling the seller?
I told them, like, I'm here to help them get out of their situation that they're in, because what happened was he bought the house maybe like 2 years ago, and he had a contractor work on it, and the contractor actually moved into the house. So he's like, yeah, you can move into the house and you can work on it while you live there. Well, the contractor started letting his friends move in over time. And then his friends moved in, and then their friends moved in, and then the RV moved in. So they started tearing the walls down. There was a fire in the basement a little bit. I think they were cooking meth there or something like that.
Oh.
So he was going through a lot. When he let them, or he had to do the eviction, it took about 6 months to evict them.
Right.
And so he lost money on the deal. I kind of felt bad for the guy. So I knew I let my emotion get into it a little bit. It was my first deal, so I probably could have got him a little bit lower. But I told him, hey, I'm here to help you. I understand what you're going through. I've seen this, with in my construction company a few times, and I also work with property managers over the years, so I've seen people move in when the for rent sign's out in the yard. So my heart kind of went out to him and his wife.
Sure, I understand. Now, George, when you say you tell them everything, you didn't tell the seller you're a wholesaler, right?
No, I told him I work with investors, and that we're just here to help them get out of a situation. Like, I might not be the end buyer. I might have somebody else that might buy it. Got it. Okay. So you pretty much tell the seller that you could be the buyer, or you could not, and have someone else buy the property, right? Yep.
Got it.
I was upfront, honest, and transparent.
Good. Gotcha, bro. Okay. Cool, man. So now let me ask you. So what was the ARV on the property?
The after repair value was $200,000.
Wow. Okay. So 200,000
But
and go ahead.
but it needed a ton of work. Like it was kind of like a gut job.
Like how much work?
It was going to be about $60,000 worth of work.
All right. So 60,000. Okay. And you got it. Hold on a second. And you got it under contract for 70. Okay. Now I want to know, George, how many bedroom and bathroom?
It was 4 bedrooms and 1 bath.
Okay. And what was the square footage?
1,900 square feet.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I want to know is, so let's do the, okay. So now let me ask you this, George. How do you know that the $70,000 was a good price?
I mean, I'm a contractor. I'm a licensed contractor. I kind of saw how much work it needed, and I'm only going by my numbers because I've been in the business for a while, but I knew they could get it done with 55 to 60K. So, I mean, I was really guessing at a point too. I mean, I'm still kind of new to this.
Sure.
So.
Sure. So the thing is, you guys, if you do the formula, if I take 200,000 minus the 30% discount, minus the repair, which is 60,000, George said, that will put you down at pretty much at 80,000. So potentially, George, you can send this out. You lock it up at 70. You can potentially send it out for 80,000. So that's why I asked you that is because I don't know if you used a formula or you don't use the formula and you figure, you know what, I'm just gonna toss another 5,000 on top of this deal.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do that. I kind of wanted to add a little bit extra. I used the formula, the 70% formula minus the ARV minus my fee. And I kind of wanted to give them a little bit of a leeway with the 5,000 extra because it needed a lot more work. And I'm pretty sure once they started digging into it, they were probably going to use that 5,000 for that repair.
Got it, George. So hey, bro, the way you handle the situation, George, there's nothing wrong with that. But on this call, dude, I'm going to turn you into a businessman a little bit, okay? So
okay.
So let me ask you this, bro. So 200,000. Now, first, let me ask you, where do you find your buyers?
I find my buyers at the real estate meetings. I go to 2 real estate meetings here in Washington and Idaho. And then I've been trading up with other wholesalers around here. Okay.
So this buyer came from where?
Oh, this buyer came from my buddy's list. He's a bigger wholesaler here in this area. So I just JV'd with him and he found the buyer.
Gotcha, man. Okay, so he's a wholesaler, okay. And
yeah, he's got a much bigger list than I do.
Okay, got it. And you guys just operate in Spokane, George?
Currently in Spokane, yes, but I would like to move into Idaho because I'm right across the border from Idaho.
Oh.
And that area is like really going off with real estate right now.
Good for you. Okay, man. Okay, so this buyer came from another wholesaler friend of yours. Okay, so for those of you out there, man, don't push wholesaler away. You've seen George work with wholesale. I work with wholesaler because they're basically just like us out there doing the exact same thing, building relationship, building connections, building up their cash buyer list. So why turn it down, right? 50% is better than 0%. Okay, so work with other people, man. We all can make money in this, man. We all can make that money. So now let me ask you, George, how quickly did you find that? So did you lock it up and did you send it out to your buyers or did you just send it over to your wholesaler buddy?
At first I thought I could sell it to a couple of my buyers. So I sent it out to them and a couple of them went by and looked at it and they said it wasn't for them. So I kind of got a little scared at first. Yep. And I was like, oh crap, I better send it out to somebody really fast. So I called my buddy up and he had it gone within 3 days.
Gotcha. Got it. Cool, man. So for those of you who are listening, when you first started out, man, I felt the exact same way. because you thought that you had a deal and you sent it out to a couple of your buyers and all your buyers got a no. And that makes you feel really uncertain. It really makes you scared and it really makes you feel uncertain. And a lot of people get discouraged and have no more motivation to continue to market. All right, dude, a couple no's doesn't mean anything. It could mean this. The people that drove by, is too much work for them. So my next question for you, George, is all your buyers that said no, did you call them back up and did you ask them why?
Yeah, they said that the price point was a little bit too high for them.
Okay, good. Because I know some people don't. Some people, you know, I mean, when I first started, I was like that. My buyer said, hey, Khang, you know, I'm going to pass on it. I just said, okay. I figured the price is too high. But so a lot of times, you know, you cannot assume, you got to ask. So in this case, you asked all your buyer and they said the price too high. Is that correct, George?
Yes, sir.
Because you guys, in some of my previous deal, I asked my buyers and my buyer would say, yeah, you know what, Khang, the price seems to be okay, but it's just too much work and too much risk for me. Like, you know, because I was trying to sell a property that was burnt. And so they have to completely gut it. So they was kind of iffy and they never dealt with burnt house before. So they were afraid. So what I'm telling you, sometimes your number is right, the buyer that passed on it, not because maybe it's the price, but because the rehab was too big for them and they don't want to take it on. Or maybe it's not even an area that they're interested in because they're not familiar with it. So they don't know how much they can sell for and they're really iffy. And maybe they only do 1 or 2 deals a year. So they're more of a cautious a flipper, right? So you got to always ask your buyer, why did they turn it down, so you can understand them more. So that way, the next time you come across, you'll be able to, you know, send them better deals that way. All right. So, okay. My next question to you, George. So you send it out to your wholesaler. You said he got it sold within 3 days. Did the buyer walk through the property?
Yeah, we just, what we did is me and my buddy, we met up over at the house and we put a lockbox on it and just sent the code out to his buyers and told them to just go by and check it out. That was kind of sketchy too, because when we were there, code enforcement came by and was like, what are you guys doing here? So yeah, just put a lockbox on it, said, hey, go check it out, give us some numbers, and that was it. I mean, I haven't even been back to the property since. Like, it was really nice because just throw that lockbox on, we're gone.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's really nice, especially if the property is vacant. It's easy to show. It's easy to deal with. So here, hey George. So when the code enforcement was there, how do you guys handle that?
Oh, I just told them that I was buying the property and that we were going to fix it up and make it so that it was no longer a problem for them. The guy was extremely happy to hear that. He didn't want to go by and look at it anymore.
Good, man. Okay, so the buyer came out. So buyer came back and accepted you guys' offer at $75,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, George, you guys use an attorney to close. Is that a title company?
Yeah, it was just a one-stop shop. The attorney took care of it. In fact, I never even met the attorney. We just sent it on over and it was done. I just went and picked up my check.
And how long? And how fast was the closing?
It was 15 days. 16
days. Nice, man. So George, now let me ask you this, man. The buyer that came out, did they? I know some buyers don't probably discuss the rehab number, but did they say anything about your rehab price? Was it on point? Was it off? Was it more? Was it less? Did they mention anything?
No, he actually said it. Yeah, he said it was on point.
Okay, good, man. Okay, so George, here's some tips that I can give you, bro. But before that, let me ask you a couple things, George. When you discover wholesaling, I guess, was it a book? Was it a video? Who do you came across first, man? And what got you excited to get into it?
Well, when I learned about it, I started going to the real estate meetings, and the number one goal I had was to meet another wholesaler. And I met my buddy there, and he was a Wholesaling Inc. tribe member. So he actually got me to be a Wholesaling Inc. Tribe member too. And we just became really good friends. I've done some work for him, plumbing at his house, and he's given me so much work for my construction company that we talk just about every other day now, and we work together on marketing. So just building relationships. but he got me into it, and it was a lot to handle at first. It was like drinking from a fire hose, that's for sure.
So, gotcha, bro. So now, George, let me ask you, man, so you went at it for 5 months, I guess. How many hours were you putting out on studying and learning and taking action?
I must have read like 15 books. I nonstop watch podcast or listen to podcasts, and I've been watching a lot of your podcasts and video. I've been watching Max Maxwell constantly. I was watching Wholesale Hackers, the guys over Brent Marino and Adam Johnson over in Mississippi. I actually won their ticket to go to their real estate roundup a couple months ago. So I felt like I was the only one in Mississippi at their seminar that has never done a deal, and I'm sitting there with all these people that have done countless deals. But yeah, I put nonstop work into this, man.
Gotcha, man. So see, the thing is, I like to, George, I like to bring that up because a lot of people think putting in a few hours, 2 hours, an hour a day, and they go at it for a couple months and they're like, oh, this doesn't work for me. Dude, it takes a massive amount of work and effort and energy that you got to pour in, because you're trying to learn, you're trying to implement, and, obviously build, you basically try and do everything at once. And plus you have a job that you got to go to as well. So dude, it's not easy. So now George, what are some tips and feedback, man, that you can give to the people that are starting out, man?
The first tip would be get rid of that shiny object syndrome. That would be the first tip, because I was doing mailers, I was trying to call, like I was trying to do all sorts of different marketing strategies. So when I went down to the seminar down in Mississippi, I talked to one of the speakers. I don't know if you know him, Brian Manley. He's a virtual wholesaler, and he sat down and he told me just concentrate on one type of marketing and one type of marketing only. And he said no more mailers for me. He's like, don't do mailers anymore. So it's all up to everybody how they want to market and whatnot, but I was kind of getting pulled in all different directions, and I was getting really a lot of shiny objects. Like I even signed up for the real estate class to get my real estate license. And I was like, I thought I had to do all this stuff. No, just one thing at a time.
Gotcha. So now, George, then what is your one main source of marketing now?
My one main source is Craigslist right now, and I'm starting to. I've been working on my website, and I got a Carrot website, so their SEO training is amazing, and I'm starting to work on that. So I guess I'm in SEO purgatory, as they say right now. I'm right in the middle of the 9-month plan, so I'm working on that a lot. And putting a lot of effort into that. And then I'm going to start text blasting here pretty soon too. Gotcha.
Okay. Got it. So
but now, Craigslist is my main marketing right now.
Gotcha. Which means, so I guess, could you elaborate exactly what you do on Craigslist?
I post an ad. Well, I've only been posting an ad once a week, but I need to ramp it up to about 3 times a day.
Okay.
To really drive traffic to my website.
And what section do you put it in?
I put it in real estate services.
Okay. For sale by owner, for sale by broker, landlord, for rent. Do you hit all that?
Yeah, basically, yeah, I hit everything I can with that.
Got it.
With that one ad, yeah.
Okay. And you're suggesting people should post 3 times a day.
Yeah, I've seen some podcasts where they're like, yeah, you got to do about 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and then once before dinner, because people like, they wake up, they check Craigslist, they're on their lunch break, they're checking the Craigslist, and then, right before they go eat something for dinner, they're checking Craigslist. So it's $15 a day. It gets expensive, but that's what they said it takes to really dial in right there.
Gotcha, man. All right, so George, dude, I appreciate the tip that you dropped, man. So let me give you some of my opinion on the deal, dude. So first of all, George, you got to understand understand your buyers and understand your market. It's extremely important for you to maximize your wholesale deal. The reason why I say that, bro, is because in today's market, with kind of how hot it is, I think the market is starting to take, kind of slowing down just a tiny bit, but still, I'm thinking on this lead, I'm not saying necessarily this lead, but just in the future, like if I were you, knowing what I know now, here's what I would have done. Now, first, let me ask you this before I jump to a conclusion. How long did you lock the property under contract for, George?
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah, how long did you lock the property under contract with the seller for?
I locked it down for 30 days.
30 days. Now, let me ask you this, George. Did you mention that or the seller mentioned that?
I mentioned it.
Okay. So here's the first tips that I want to give you, George, is when you guys mention any numbers, because you know what the goal is, right? The goal is to lock the deal up under contract or property under contract for as long as possible and sell it as quickly as possible. So I would ask the seller next time, George, I wouldn't say, okay, we can close in 30 days. Because a lot of sellers are okay with 30 days, they're okay with 60 days, they're okay with 90 days. So I would ask the seller, man, hey, so let's just say if you're the seller, George, the first thing I would say is, hey, if we can agree on a price that works for you and for us, George, how quickly or how soon do you want to sell and close escrow on this property? And then let the seller mention to you the day or how long it is. Some will say, well, I would like to close as soon as possible. And then that's where, now here's my next pitch, George. I would say, okay, so we're closing within the next 30 to 45 days or sooner. Would that work for you, George? They would say, yeah, that would work, or the sooner the better. Now you can lock them up for 45 days. Because let me tell you something. When sellers say, I want to close quickly, majority of time to them, 30 days or sooner, when you say sooner, right? 30 days to them or sooner is actually a quick closing. Because they have that traditional mindset where, oh, I list the property with an agent. It takes, they're hearing all these people telling them, 60, 90 days, right, on average to close on their property. So most sellers think 30 days or sooner is very quick. So I always pitch them 30 or 45 days or sooner. Would that work for you, George? And majority of time, bro, I don't have a problem. The seller will say, yeah, no, that would be fine. Now they say, well, I would like to close sooner than that, but, I would like to see it happen sooner than that. That's when I go into and I say, George, honestly, we have successfully closed a deal in 15 days and 7 days, a lot sooner, but I rather under promise and over deliver with you, because sometimes we lost you. There it is. George.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, because sometimes I would say, we rather under promise and over deliver with you, because sometimes, paperwork and things that comes up in the process that takes us time, or, that takes longer, especially the title search and all that. So we rather under promise and over deliver with you. I don't want to promise you something and then go back and trying to get an extension. But within those days, they're able to get us everything done. And, majority of time, George, I'll let you know, we close a lot sooner, okay? So that's what I would say. Some sellers said, no, I don't have a time frame. I don't have a time frame. That's when I pitched to them with closing within 45 to 60 days or sooner. Okay? And then when it gets down to the price, dude, you can always negotiate on a price and then reduce the time frame if you have to. You know, if 70,000, we can close this. If you want it a lot sooner, I can, you know, reduce that closing day down to this. So that way you can use that towards your negotiating as well. But if I were you next time, George, I would ask the seller first before you mention how soon you can close, okay?
Okay.
Now here's my next tip to you, George, is that I know nowadays people would buy it, dude, at 25, even 20% discount. They don't need the 30% discount. I'm not saying all buyers, I'm just saying some buyers. And that's why you want to network and you want to ask your buyer, right? What are they looking to make on a deal, or what's their formula that they use to buy? Some buyer will tell you, hey, I'm okay with making 25% or 20%. Because this deal, dude, because knowing the market I know today, I would have sent this deal out at a 25% discount. And then I'll let because I have times, right? I have time on the contract that I will send it out. Let's just say 200,000 minus 25%. That puts you at 150 minus 60. So I would have sent this deal out at 90K and see what happened. I would have sent it out at 90,000 and see what happened. And then if the buyer comes in and said it's too high, then you have room to negotiate with them. So that would have given you a $20,000 cushion, right? A $20,000 to negotiate. Okay, so that's what I would do. I would send it out high, a little bit higher. But like I said, you got to understand your market and understand your buyer if you can do that. Some market you cannot do that. Okay, but you can always reduce the price, but you can't just put out one price and then go up, right? You can always go high and then go low. You can't go low and then go high. So that's what I would do, man. And so for me as a business owner, you know, I work hard on getting my deals. You know, I spend money on marketing. So I try to do the best that I can to get the most profit I can. And the whole thing is, you got to understand, George, I understand your whole thing is, you know, I want to leave that cushion for my end buyer, this and that. And that's great, bro. And that's great. But as a business owner, listen, everybody is out there. They got to do their due diligence. They got to do their job, right? So when you put it out there, man, you got to understand that's your price. And if the buyers come back and if it works for them, great. If it doesn't work for them, then let me know what price will work for them. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that you know, is that in business, you gotta do, you just gotta do you. And you know, and because I guess what I'm trying to say is it's buyers out there that some buyer will say, hey, this deal is so, I make this X amount. They're not going to go back and give you some money, right? They're not going to be like, oh man, I estimated I'm supposed to make 30K on this deal. All of a sudden I make 35. I'm going to give George $5,000. I got to say that 99.9% that's not going to happen, right? So as a business owner, you got to do what's good for your business and let others do, right? Because listen, you're not forcing them, right? You're not forcing them, or you're not taking the gun to their head and say, hey, you got to buy it at this price. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, you are trying to also worry about other, which is great, man, which is great. But I'm saying that people don't come back and make X amount and come back and give you some money because they made more than what they expected. Sometimes, dude, I've been in the game. I've been in the fix and flip game, George. Sometimes you win, and also too is sometimes you lose. But that's just part of being a business owner, right? You do your due diligence, you do whatever you can, and you make the offer, and then you just have to accept with whatever the result may be. So overall, man, I'm saying that the next time you get a deal, just send it out for, you know, for a little bit higher and see what kind you can get, and then come back and renegotiate, and you can always lower. So for me, I send it out. If within a week, if I don't get anything, then I would lower, you know, $5,000 or $10,000, whatever it is that I can afford to reduce, man. So, dude, George, that's enough talking on my end, bro. Let's I'm gonna let you wrap it up, George. You know, especially for those that are starting out, man, that are hungry for their first deal. I guess if you can share some tips with them, or how did it got you to keep pushing forward after a couple months of not seeing anything?
You just gotta, I listen to a lot of motivational speeches in the morning. They keep me motivated every single day. So I read a book, it was The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And I just started waking up every single morning at 5 o'clock and listening to motivation and just telling myself, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. This is, it's do or die. Don't quit. It'll come to you. You're going to hear a lot of no's, but you're going to get that yes sooner or later.
Awesome, man. So George, how do people connect with you and work with you, bro?
Well, I mean, if they want to give me a call, or they can visit my website. My phone number is 909-283-2851.
Okay. All right, bro. Okay, no problem, man. If you want to put your phone number out there, that's fine. So it's going to blow up. So besides phone number, where else can they connect with you, George?
They could connect with me on my website, 1776homerepairers.com. Or they can email me at americanhomerepair1776@gmail.com.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to connect with everybody.
I love it. You guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. Once again, man, George, I want to say thank you so much, man, for your time to jump on and to share your story, bro. Greatly appreciate it. I wish you much more success. And also to those of you who recently closed your first wholesale deal, shoot me an email over to wholesale2millions@gmail.com. Show me a picture of the checks. Love to get you onto the channel. For those of you who are just, in that stage trying to get your first deal and you've been going at this for months and months and months and haven't seen any results, dude, just like George said, all I can tell you is just keep pushing, keep going, plant those seeds, do whatever you can, take it one day at a time, and I promise you, you're right, your day will come and you will shine. George, thank you so much, and thanks to everyone that's listening. Have a great rest of your day, bro. Ciao.
You too.